The Omo Plata is using your legs to attack him with a Kimura instead of your arms to attack him with a Kimura. Instead of going here, it's your legs putting him in that position. Your legs are stronger than your arms. It's a little bit less secure, and it's got a higher percentage of him maybe doing a somersault to get out. Do a somersault, please. And me coming to the top. Right? So now that wasn't a submission, but I went from the bottom to the top, so I should be happy with that. If you're willing to accept that you're not going to submit people quite as often, and I've got some tricks to actually submit people from there fairly often, but even so, if you're willing to accept that occasionally it'll turn into a sweep, then it's a fantastic technique. So the thing about attacking using the Omo Plata from the guard, it's not the only place that you can attack from the Omo Plata with the Omo Plata, is to flare his elbows out a little bit and ideally put the hand on the floor. This to me is just screaming Omo Plata attack. So whenever he's here, I should be thinking about going to here. But getting from there to there isn't as simple as it seems. I used to, and I think this is probably the single biggest change in my Omo Plata, I used to lead with my foot. See, I'm putting one foot on the hip, and I'm bringing the foot first. I'm coming like this. And that works, and I've submitted and swept a lot of people like that. But it has more space in here. So I think over the last couple of years, I've really started leading with the knee, bringing the knee up rather than the foot up. And you see, I'm even putting the foot on the hip, and I'm squeezing. It doesn't look like anything yet, but it's much tighter. And it allows me to keep his arm in the bad position. If I'm leading with my foot, and he can lawnmower his arm out, right? He can just rip it out this way. Because, just straighten up, exactly. Whereas if I'm leading with the knee, and I'm hugging the arm, it's much harder for him to pull that arm out. Gi, no gi, doesn't matter. So what I want you to try, just to get in that mindset, if he puts a hand on the floor, if he puts just put one hand on the floor. Okay, your non-tattooed arm on the floor. Okay. He puts his left arm on the floor, I put my left foot on his hip. From there, I'm going to bring my knee up, and I'm going to try to get my foot on his hip. From here, I can even hug him here, or hug him here, hold my own shin, and keep that arm in the terrible position. So I just want you to try isolating this position a little bit. He's going to move around 10, 20, 30%, just trying to get that arm free. See, I'm cupping the head, I'm cupping my own shin. If he brings his hand, that's fine. I just want you to practice squeezing with the knees. If I'm doing it like this, he's going to get out. If I'm squeezing in with the knee, it's a lot harder for him to get out. That is not really an entry in and of itself, but it gets the idea of the leading with the knee as opposed to leading with the foot, right? So give that a try, please.
No, with him, he's going to generally...
Yeah, that's fine.
Doesn't matter.
That's fine. If you can, escape your hips out to the side of it. Okay, if I could go back. Okay, just a lot of the more advanced people are doing this instinctively, but I think it's worth pointing out, just go flat on your back. This is sort of the right position, but if Eric starts escaping his hips out to the side a little bit more, it starts putting him into a worse and worse position. So not only are you squeezing in on the armpit, you're also escaping your hips to the side. We're just going to do this for another minute, and then we're going to get into more proper entries. Thank you. That finish of breaking the guy's posture one way or the other and coming out and tapping him out with the basic Omo Plata, that's a really good option. I just want to cover a few other options in case Murphy strikes. He's got a lot of different counters, so I've got to know a lot of answers to his questions, basically. He's going to ask me a question. I'm going to try standing up. What are you going to do about it? I'm going to try doing a somersault. What are you going to do about it? I'm going to try cartwheeling. I'm not going to let your leg come out to triangle your legs. So I need answers to all those. So I'm going to try and give you some answers. or the answers that I use anyhow. They're not, you know, as I said before, they're not the be-all and end-all. So we're here. He's in danger. He knows more or less that to do an Omo Plata, I've got to get this leg up here, and I've got to get this leg up there as well, right? I bring my feet to his head and my head to his feet. So some people, and it's a fairly good idea, is they decide not to let this foot out. They'll stuff it between their legs, or they'll hunch down on top of it, and that can make it difficult to bring your head all the way to his feet. Well, the simplest answer there is just to bring one foot in front of his head, here. See now I've snaked my foot deeper in between his legs? I'm hooking him here. Try to do a somersault. Really, he's checkmated himself. Now, it's hard for me to finish the standard Omo Plata, but I've got some options. I can do the wrist lock, which might be cheesy, but it works. Just be gentle when you apply the wrist lock, because it's really easy to damage it. Here, I can apply a one-handed Kimura by pushing his hand to the mat here, there, or I can come to my knees here and tap him out just with the body pressure. I'll do it on the other side. So however I get into it, he's got the underhook, I come here, the cadeado, I'm going to jackhammer that free and until I get into the position. He's not going to let my right leg, which is now trapped under his body, free. Try and get it in a bit deeper and hook either this leg or that leg, I don't care. Now, I move my leg in front of his face. You don't have to be super flexible to do this. My foot's only about a foot from my head. If you're really inflexible, that might be a problem. I stay here. He's really in trouble. Can he jump? Nope. I can wrist lock. I can arm lock just by pushing that. Or I can swim and come up to my hands and knees basically and apply it there. If he rolls here, put your head away, we end up in a great position. You know, we got lots of other options here. We still have arm locks. I can stabilize the top. He's had the fear of God put into him. He's not going to be in my guard anymore. So try that. Hook the leg that can't come out. Use a wrist lock, an arm lock, or come onto your knees and slowly turn like that. Tap them out. 3 options to finish. Thank you. Thanks.
When I start the Omo Plata, if I push the guy's head, just make it easier for me.
When you're inserting well, if you start the push at the same time as you're swinging the leg, early in the entry, you're going to help him give the energy out. Pushing the head is certainly a good idea. Like, okay, so we're here, we're doing this sort of tight thing.
Right.
Then I push the head to make the room.
Right.
But if I push the head off the bat, yeah, it might. If he's totally intent on driving in on you, you might get caught in it. But if he's any kind of savvy, he's going to limp arm out. And now it's bad for him, good for him. Good for him, bad for me.
Right. Okay.
So pushing the head to make the room in the end to bring the foot in is a great idea.
All right.
Leave the arm there. Or you can start trapped in the fold of your body here. So do a side punch, put both hands on the Are all 3 working for you?
Yeah, they are.